this is MTG Degree, my name is Luke, and today we're going to talk about box mapping. Now some of you might know what that is already, and for you guys that's great, but some people, a good amount of people, don't know what it is, and so I thought it was something that I should go over. It's my hope that at the end of this video you say to yourself, well, that was really interesting, but it has nothing to do with me, because this is not something that I want you guys to have to deal with. So what is box mapping? Well, box mapping is a practice by which somebody can open a box, pull out, 3 boosters or whatever, open them, record what they opened, and then by entering it into a computer program or some other method, know the contents of every other pack in the box. So for example, somebody might be able to buy a box of Future Sight, and then they open 3 packs, and then after opening it, then they say, okay, 3 down on the left, there's a Tarmogoyf, and then all the way on the bottom, in the middle, there is a Horizon Canopy, and all of the other cards are worthless. Then they can take all the other packs that they never opened, and then, sell them on eBay or whatever, and make killing. Now, to understand why this happens, you have to look at how Wizards prints cards. So if you know, they print them in these big sheets, right? And so they have like a sheet of rares. Then that sheet goes through a cutter, and after all of the cards have been cut out of it, then they get pseudo-randomized, and then the uncommons and commons are added on top, they're put into packs, and then put into boxes and sent off. Now, the key in there is that it's pseudo-randomized. Wizards is printing a lot of packs, and having a truly random process in there after the cards have been cut is really difficult. So they're not truly random, and because of this, if you open enough boxes, then, people who are very good at math, some computer programmers, can get together and say, okay, well, we know exactly what will be in a box after we see X number of packs. Now, does Wizards know about this problem? Yes, and their boxes have become harder and harder to map over time. They've made them more and more pseudo-random. But there's no proof that they're done, that they have actually beaten box mapping. As far as I understand it, you could still box map a current set. It would just require that more boxes are opened. Of course, that's not a problem because lots of people like me are just uploading box openings, which is apparently what these folks like to just watch and then get all the data from other people opening boxes. Of course, from now henceforth, I'm going to shuffle up the packs before I ever do a box opening in the future. Now, because all of this is, in my opinion, somewhat hard to envision, I've included a little video in here that you guys can watch. I've kind of just cut it up a little bit so you can see how somebody is going through a box and then just taking out all the cards that are worth something.
And it's telling me I've got a 25% chance in these 4 locations for a rare. I'm going back to the card map here, and it says we have a partial prediction here. It could be either Jared Golgari Lichlord or Temple Garden in the next pack down. Well, let's find out. Jared. So this fills in all of the track A's. Some you have an Abrupt Decay, a Temple Garden, a Rakdos' Return, and a Spiria. Let's open a Temple Garden. Temple Garden. And just going ahead and enter in the foil here. And it's still telling me my rares in those other locations. But we'll come back to that. We've got an Abrupt Decay in the second pack of the 3rd row. Right there. Confirm that's there. Tells me we have a Rakdos' Return, 1 pack down and 1 pack over from Jared. Rakdos' return.
The link to that video is in the description. Now let's say that you want to open, some booster packs, and you want to know, does my LGS do this? Well, the answer is, most LGSs, the vast majority of LGSs, do not do this. But here's how you know if there's a red flag. So let's say that there is a box of, the current set out on the counter. Then when the box starts getting low, somebody from the LGS goes into the back, or, goes under the table and just pulls out a bunch of loose packs, from like a little bin or something, and then just starts filling it back up. Well, that is a huge red flag. As a customer, you always want to see a fresh box in the Wizard's shrink wrapping being cracked open, and then those packs being put in the front. Whether or not they want to use the new box as the next display doesn't really matter, but you want to see that package being opened. Now, the two places that are the most notorious sellers of this kind of box-mapped product are eBay, where the people can sell all the packs individually. There's no way to prove that anyone's done any box mapping. If you don't get something good, that happens when you open packs, so there's no way to tell if somebody on eBay that's selling individual packs is box mapping or not. The other one is at, conventions. I'm not saying necessarily, GPs, but at conventions, you go to, an anime convention or something like that, and somebody's selling Magic product there, and there's just a bunch of loose packs in a Tupperware container. Well, if it's boxed, they sell for, 2 days. Nobody can really get enough data in that time, or would even think to, and then, they're off to the next convention. They don't have a player base that's constant, so they can box map to their heart's content. Once again, I'm not saying that all of these retailers do this, I'm just saying that it's an option that is definitely exercised by some of them. So let's say that you want to buy old product. Well, there's really two ways. One is you can always buy any form of sealed product. So for example, you could buy pre-release kits, old pre-release kits from old sets. They're still in their shrink wrapping. Those are not mapped or whatever. You can just buy those. You can buy old boxes. You have to buy 36 packs at a time, so that can be a little constraining on a budget for a very expensive box, but it's definitely worth it in the sense that you do have a chance of opening something, whereas if you're buying individual packs, that chance might be literally non-existent. Let's say though that you just want to open a pack. You just want to roll the lottery one time. So you want to buy, for example, a pack of Future Sight and open that up. Well, there are two places that I can suggest that you go to for individual pack buying online. One of them is Star City Games, and the other one is Channel Fireball. These are two extremely large retailers with huge reputations. They are not going to risk losing the huge industry that they've built just to box map and make a few more bucks. It doesn't matter to them. So these are companies that you can trust to give you individual packs that are legitimate. The real problem with box mapping is that it's the invisible crime. There's almost no way for you to ever prove that anyone ever did any box mapping, and that's why it's really tough to work with. So I hope that this video doesn't matter to you, that your LGS just opens up the boxes just like 99.9% of LGSs and sells them normally. But, if this ends up mattering to you, then I hope that it helped. Well, that's all for today. If you liked the video, of course the like button's there for you. If you really liked the video, then of course the subscribe button is there for you, and there's always more videos in the future. And with that said, as always, I'll see you guys next video.